I can almost not even explain how happy I am to just go back now to my normal gym, normal routines. Because the truth is, I have been a little bit low lately. I thought everything I trained for, everything just showing up, consistency. I also built like insane mental strength, and I thought I would handle my sort of lower back injury better than I did. But the truth is, like, when you're not allowed to do what you love doing, there's no denying that that's gonna affect you. Then what we choose to do with it is where the mental strength part comes in. So of course I keep on going, but there's no denying that I feel worse. Like doing what I love, and when that's taken away, it feels empty. Like the days without training properly, it just feels weird, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So I'm so happy now just to go back to the gym. I'm of course not gonna destroy it as I used to do, but just being in the gym, lifting some weight, even if the intensity is really low, still on the recovery part, even though my back now, I don't feel any pain, but I'm not gonna push it. So I will do a smooth transition. I'm gonna add more mobility exercises, 2 mobility exercises for my shoulders, because I know that one factor to this back pain was my one-arm handstand form. I was arching, so it's time. It's time to solve the problem, and mobility, even though I fucking hate doing it, it's good. It's good to perform. So 2 exercises to start off. Then I'm gonna move on to some light planche training. I might just do some planche push-ups and then some holds. Then some dips afterwards for the strengthening part. Not gonna go that heavy on it though with the dip belt. Just some light weights, increasing the reps a bit. And then I'm gonna do some deadlift and hyperextension. So it's way more exercises than usual, but at a really low intensity, activating. And then after some time I will also see which ones do I wanna keep, which some of them might be too easy for me. Like the hyperextensions, they're really good to a certain degree. Then you can add some ankle weights, push it even more, but then you just get too strong for it to be beneficial. And at that point, I will switch up to something else. But that is pretty much the plan. And I'm just really looking forward to activate my body again. Because one of the worst feelings, I love this trip I've been on. I went to Germany for 6 or 7 days, and then we were in Spain for about 4 or 5. And I had a great time, but every time we had like the meetup where I just wanted to perform, I wanted to show people what my 1 year of training has led to, because that level compared to last year's meetup, it's a massive jump. And when you can't do that, or you can't film content together with people that ask you to, can we do a planche together or something like that, it sucks, because I so much want to do it, and then you can't. And during like shootings and everything, I love to do harder stuff, variations, but now I wasn't able, and it feels so bad. Like the timing is really shit, and an injury it's never gonna be good timing, but yeah, it's never gonna be good timing. But this was just really bad timing, because the trip was so much regarding like shootings, meetups, performance, training. But I had a great time. I was surrounded with like loved ones. The Grenadian team is one of the best, and the Molly and Daniel as well, like super close friends to me, and it just bumps up my mood. But overall, the training part really sucked. But now I'm not gonna talk about those things, because we're moving on, and now I have no schedule, like hardcore stuff, no competitions, anything. So I'm gonna take my time now, spend some weeks, like 1 or 2 at least now in the beginning, just to see how it progresses, and rather be on the lower side of intensity. Usually when you're at a competitive level, you do want to be right underneath overtraining. Like you don't want to overtrain, because this is the zone of injury, but for maximum progress you do want to be really close to it, but not get injured. That's where you push yourself to the maximum, but no side effects. But now I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be one step further down, just getting activation with my body. And in general also, I'm gonna start focusing more on the lower back. Just strengthen the core, strengthen the lower back and that part. Because it's always gonna be, the stronger we are, the less chance of injury as well, because there is going to be scenarios where you're training a certain muscle, like you're doing planche or you're doing front lever, and you're really strong. Your main muscles that you're going to feel the connection with might be the lats, it might be the shoulders for the planche. But if your weak spot is the lower back, you might not feel that you're overtraining that part because you're not having the focus on it. But in calisthenics there are a lot of skills that just involves the full body, and it's hard to, or it's easy to forget, and it's hard to always focus on everything, and you have your focus on one thing and then you forget that I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on this part of my body, but that wasn't really the main thing. So that's what I'm gonna have in mind now, just strengthening my core in general, because it's gonna do me a lot. And then always when you have a strong core, you can reduce some of the pressure on your shoulders. For example, you don't need to lean as much. If you have your protraction and you have your core connection, you can stay at a higher altitude than the dead planche. If you have no core connection, you just lean way more, you enter dead planche, all pressure is on the shoulders, but then you can compensate with getting stronger in the core, and that's gonna be my focus right now. So a big switch up compared to my previous training style, but this is what we do. We enter different phases, we know what works, and we adapt for maximum progress. So I will see you guys in the gym for starting off with some mobility exercises. First drill, it's gonna be the shoulder stretcher, and we do need a dumbbell, but pretty lightweight. The weight is not gonna be for us to hold, it is only gonna be the weight that is actually stretching our body. Like when we're standing in this position, the gravity and our mass is helping us stretch, and some movements here, it's really hard to stretch with only our strength. So we wanna have a weight to actually get us that extra range of motion. Concept is to have a bench or something to put your elbows on. Grab the weight, both sides, and then we will let the weight fall back. And this position we just hold. Nice. For the next one I'm gonna take a timer though. I'm aiming for minimum 1 minute on these sets. And another great thing with this sort of drill is, and also one of the reasons why I start with it, is because you unlock more mobility during the workout. Of course, in the long run, if you do this a lot, you increase overall mobility. But if you do these type of stretches in the beginning, your workout will be better in mobility wise, because you get this temporary benefit from it. And then of course long term if you do it over and over again. And I'm gonna do this now, and then when I'm completely done or recovered with my lower back, I will be able to do this before my one-arm handstand trainings, and at that point have a greater range of motion. But either way, let's do 2 more sets. I'm focusing on right now, push my chest downwards and letting go with weight as far back as possible. Let's do 2 more. I'm only gonna record the first bit of this one, and then the other one I will do it, but not show it, because it's a bit boring, this exercise in my opinion. But you get the point, and why I do it, which is the main thing. Now we're gonna put on some anime. Daniel Fleerfin influenced me. So let's put on some bangers here. Even though this isn't really the exercise where you want to have someone screaming, but we do enter the mood before we do the planche, so it's pretty good. 1 minute. Pretty good. I do feel like I'm stopping the blood flow to my arms. I feel like, you know, 1,000 nails on my forearms. But the stretch is there, which is the main thing. Let's rest. It's just like 1 minute rest in between these ones because it's not really pushing. And then do 1 more. And after that, we're moving on to the second mobility exercise, which is also a new one that you probably haven't seen, or at least not me doing it. Next up, we're gonna need sort of a squat rack, but the most important thing is that we have some pillars or poles to pull or push the bar up against. Concept is for me to step 1 step forward and then do a shoulder press, but with this one restricting the range of motion forward. So my shoulders are needing to go in a straight line upwards, and this is the mobility part. I'm not gonna have any weight. 20 kg is the weight of the bar, and that's enough. And of course, the wider you have, the easier it's gonna be. So let's start off with shoulder width apart, and then we can work ourselves inwards or outwards if it's too hard. And here as well, TPT with the core, not too bad. It's heavier than you think, especially when you're getting into this range that you usually don't go into. But it was alright, 10 reps, and I'm gonna see if I can do like slightly tighter grip for the second one and maintain the 10 reps there as well. I actually get kind of exhausted, but it feels good. If we keep this one up for a few sessions, I think I'm gonna see some improvements, because I have literally never done mobility drills since at least 6 years back. It's still gonna be really far when it comes to strength training and statics, but trust me, those V-sits, those skills where you do need some slight mobility, and even handstand push-ups, all of these where you're entering like your max range of motion, it would be beneficial. I just really hated it until I got a sort of heads up due to the injury and actually get my shit together when it comes to mobility. So here we are. Let's do one more set and then we're moving on to some planche training, which I'm actually really looking forward to. I was thinking if I would do some full ones with resistance band, but the thing with resistance band is if you have it at the torso or in the middle here by the hips, it basically only reduces the overall weight, but the connection with my lower back is roughly going to be the same, because my legs are still going to be in a hold position. Think of it like if you have a infinitely strong resistance band, it would be like you're laying on a bench, and at that point it would literally just be a leg raise hold. And that's the same concept with the resistance band. If you lower it, the connection with the hip is still going to be there. The overall intensity for the shoulders is going to be reduced. So therefore, I didn't want to do that as the first session. I rather want to go one step back and do advanced, because at this point I can feel how much I want to push it. I can start in tuck, move my legs out to the degree I feel pretty safe with, and then work my push-ups from there. So that's what we're going to do. Heavy. Since I'm not having any band, the pushing strength, it's still the same amount of weight I'm moving up and down. So it's really heavy for the shoulder part of stuff, but then way easier for the core. But it felt good, no pain whatsoever, which is what we want. Anime hard style goes pretty damn hard. It is freaking heavy though, crazy. 8 reps, previous one 7. I think 7 to 8 for the last one is gonna be good enough as well. For these ones I'm resting 2 to 3 minutes, which is a bit better since I'm increasing the intensity now. Barely, but that's pretty good. This is one of those things where the weighted dips is really helpful. Like this strength, it almost feels like if I close my eyes with some slight angles, but it feels like weighted dips. And we'll see. I was planning on doing weighted dips after this, but might skip it for today and only do the sort of deadlift and hyperextensions, because otherwise we might be here for too long. But we'll see when we get there how much time we have spent here, because I don't like doing workouts that are longer than like 1.5 to 2 hours maximum. Otherwise I feel like I'm spending too much time here, and it's not necessary. Like not always spending more time in the gym, it's not always going to be better. Sometimes it is, if you do it properly. Some balance training and stuff may take longer time, but for just constantly pushing yourself, might need some more rest. Next up, we got some holds, and I'm gonna do it in straddle. In straddle, the leverage from the legs is slightly reduced. I also feel like it is easier to get a connection with the hips. A full, you really need a PPT. For straddle, it is easier to get the glutes connected and all of that. And in general, I mainly do it because the leverage on the lower back is less. So let's do 3 holds or 3 sets, and I don't actually know how long the holds are gonna be. I will not max it out, but most likely my shoulders are gonna give in before my lower back, which is the main thing, but I'm aiming for about 8 seconds at least and above. Not too bad. Think about 8 seconds, and it felt really good. Felt like I had insane protraction. Maybe the bound was slightly too high up, but let's have a look and adjust for the second set. First one wasn't too bad. I think my hips could be slightly lower and activate the PPT a bit more. It might be a bit unconscious as well, since I had lower back pain. My body do tend to not use it. Like your mind is stopping you from using the muscles you are having pain in. That's also one limiting factor just doing daily life. Like, I still try to pick up things really close to my body. Even if I don't have pain anymore, I could literally pick something up here, but I don't. And that's also one thing I need to get over now, just keep acting normal again. And the same thing is with all exercises I perform, really focus on just getting back my activation with the lower back. So let's give it a try. The holding time was great, just the PPT, the pelvis tilt that I need to fix up a bit. Hope that was better. It felt good and no pain. Let's do one more set. I think that one was way better actually. The connection with the hips, and also now I really try to point my toes. The same procedure as for the front lever pull-ups. I have a tendency to just bend my knees slightly. And unless I don't put focus on it, I'm gonna bend them slightly. And it's still pretty much the same when it comes to how heavy it is to perform. It just doesn't look that great. So, let's give it another try. Pretty much the same holding time, and focus on the hips again and point the toes. And the other thing is, today also Grenation has the 9th anniversary. So they've been around for a really long time. I've been with them for, I think it's like 2.5 years now. And today they are actually launching these ones, the base layer shirts, which in my opinion just look sick. I haven't used them too much in the past, but now during my shootings in Germany, I had them a lot, and damn, like, they are nice. Also the ones in white, combined with the sweatpants they're launching, the Straddle collection, with some hoodies. They also have the rib tank top, which has been a favorite of mine for a really long time. So check it out, and code Simon will always give you 10% off. Let's do the last hold. Not as good, but still something. It's been a while since I actually just did holds without resistance band, and it's heavy in another way. And also, you know that when your body starts to shake, you're literally giving it your all. Let's move on. It is time for some deadlifts. I am gonna skip the dips and just move on to the deadlifts today, and then incorporate dips for the next week instead, just to really get a smooth transition. And I've been doing a lot of dips lately, so it's not a must for me to have it. Mostly because I enjoy it, but now I'm just happy for training, so I don't need that extra spark of joy in the end of the session. Next up, I am actually gonna do the Romanian deadlift. And it is basically a deadlift without incorporating the last part. So I'm only gonna be bending my lower back, keeping the legs, I can have it slightly bent, but focusing only on the lower back strap. So pretty relatively low weight. My point here is not to get good in deadlift. It's basically just to strengthen my lower back. And in this case as well, it is gonna be stretching. Just like when I had the dumbbell, it's gonna be in a position where I couldn't use my muscles to get any further, but with some additional weight, I will get that increased range of motion. So this will definitely give me some mobility as well, and also strengthen my lower back. Starting off with light weights, and then increasing as I get more comfortable. But now it's literally just about getting back. So let's do 3 sets. Yeah, locked legs work pretty fine. Pretty good. Not too crazy with intensity, but increased reps. Also do feel in lower back in a good way. No pain whatsoever though, which is the main thing. So this was nice. Also just want to remind you all that even though I am a calisthenics athlete, I would prefer to do calisthenics full time, besides the weighted dips, but that is still Cali. However, when it comes to just targeting specific muscles, it is a game changer with weights. Like, it's so much more exercises you can perform, targeting and all of those things. So if you legit want to reach the highest level, you gotta have that in mind. Like, you can reach a significant level with only bodyweight training, but those things where you would preferably want to target specific muscle or injuries like I'm cooperating with right now or working with, the weights are going to be really helpful. So have that in mind. I have no problems with doing weights. It's where I started many years ago, and I love to incorporate it. And if it is more beneficial for me to do it than only do body weight, I will do it, because at the end of the day, I'm only here for the progress. Let's do 2 more sets. Feels really good actually. That's rep. Definitely something I'm gonna incorporate for more trainings. and increase the weight as well as I'm getting stronger. Now this felt really good, like no pain, only feel slight fatigue from doing that many reps, which is really good. And only targeting lower back, really focusing on also opening up, getting my shoulders back. In the end, I did get full range of motion to actually touch the ground. I don't know, I'm gonna check the form afterward as well, because if I were to incorporate higher weights, I'm gonna make sure the form is good, because this is not something I've done a lot in the past. I did it when I started my journey, but haven't done it for some time now, so I want to make sure form is good. Just like for dips or anything else where I increase weight, always form first in those things. Then there are other exercises you can push it without having good form, like if you do straddle planche holds, full planche holds. If your form isn't perfect, but you're just struggling through without being in a danger zone of chance of getting injured, it's fine. Then you're actually just pushing your limits, increasing that overall load and intensity. But things with increased weights, be careful. Make sure the form is good before stepping up. That's one of my secrets to getting really good in dips, because I make sure I can push myself without being in the risk of getting injured. So let's move on. Now it's only the hyperextensions left, and it's also something I haven't done in a while now, but trust me, I did it a lot in the beginning of my planche journey, because having that strength is just really simulating the planche a lot. So let's give it a try, and maybe I will keep that one for next session as well, or we bump it up to a harder variation. Hyperextensions. I think the hardest part here is finding a good place to do it on, because it needs to be stable. This one, the feet are tilted outwards on both sides, and that's really helpful for the stability, and it's pretty heavy. So pretty alright, I think. And then with the hyperextensions, the further out I go with my bum or where the positioning of the edges is going to determine how hard it is. So the further out, the harder it's going to be. So I will start on the inside and then probably work myself outwards during the sets, because I would do 3 sets of this one as well. Pretty slow and controlled. Pretty alright. I think I can move out slightly more on the last one. Now I'm also not going to failure, because it's the first session, but what I can do to make it harder is to just do holds in between the reps as well, or do a max hold in the end. But now I feel like, especially after the deadlifts as well, my lower back is starting to get a bit fatigued. Not pain, but just a bit sore. So don't want to push it too hard now since it's the first session. Let's do 2 more sets. I also want to say that I am planning on building a really good introduction for heavyweight front lever and heavyweight planche. The front lever is going to be the one I will prioritize in the beginning, and this is going to be basically a place where I give heavyweights an opportunity to really understand the skill. Why I do believe that everyone over 65 or 75 kg even, over 75, 65 is a bit lightweight, but over 75 kg can do front lever and eventually planche as well. So this introduction will be me explaining everything regarding front lever. What are the benefits to train? How do you train it? How do you structure? What are some common mistakes and all of those things? And then later on even expand on how do we actually train for it. And this will be an introduction that I will launch for free. So sign up. I will leave the link in one of these corners for you to sign up on the waitlist, and you will be one of the first people to get notified when it is live. So hit that one, and then we move on to the second set. Okay, a bit further out. This will allow me to activate more PPT, simulating planche a bit more, to be honest. Very solid. Underrated, not gonna lie. I actually do think I will keep this one for at least a few more sessions. And now towards the end, when I'm actually having it at so the belly button, it is pretty damn hard. You can always also exaggerate protraction, the core, and also then focus on your lower back. So there is ways to make it harder. And when becomes too easy, adding holds in between reps or a max hold in the end, also a great way to make it harder. But that was gonna be it. I am not gonna do the dips because I think this is pretty much enough for the first workout back. I do gotta say I really enjoyed today's session. I most likely could have done literally anything, probably just a full session of stretching, and I still would have enjoyed it. Just being in this environment again, it feels so good. Like coming back to routines, even though my trip to Germany and Spain, it was really fun. Just meeting people, doing things, content. It is a lot of things that you really enjoy. But then again, there is some sort of beauty to just coming back to your like hustling routines. Waking up in the morning, creating content, being your coach, planning content, writing to people, creating programs, do your training sessions and repeat. Like I do enjoy that cycle as well because it's something I've chosen, and I see so much progress in what I'm doing when I'm actually fulfilling it and just keeping it consistent. And that's what I really enjoy. So now being back and this being a first workout, feeling good as well, not too much pain in my lower back. It feels really great. So we have some really good times ahead and big plans as well. We have 1 month now roughly with not too crazy plans. And then next year we have some judging in India actually. And then we have the FIBO competition, and we'll also see World Championship. Those are the main events in the near future, and I do really want to get at my peak performance before those stages happen. So we have 2 more months pretty much to just get back on track, and preferably a bit higher than I was when I stopped. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Choo-choo!